weakness, fatigue, stress. All these have a commonality, and it's trauma. Trauma is merely just an experience with a very strong emotion attached to it. That's why, for one person, this event had no effect, didn't do anything at all. But this event, very same thing, same circumstances, same people, and it completely debilitates them. The difference is the emotional connection that we have with events in our life. And while trauma is a horrible experience, completely depriving you of happiness and joy, it's not always a bad thing, because I've seen horrific and traumatic events change people for the better. And I've also seen the same things change people for the worse. Trauma is merely just an experience. And while many would argue that it's so much more than that, it's not. The reason why it's so effective is because your brain, and with all the neurotransmitters and all the things going on, they get stretched by this event and this experience. Trauma is one of the leading causes for addictions. Aside from a few other things, it's one of the main things that cause people to go into addiction. But there are ways through it. It's not easy. In fact, it's pretty difficult, but it's necessary, because trauma could completely bind you into a situation. See, what happens is when you're traumatized by something, it moves past the amygdala, the experience, the emotion, and it stops in between the hippocampus and the hypothalamus before it goes into the adrenal glands. And that's just a fancy word for you are constantly living in the same state that you were in whenever you experienced it. And so that's why other experiences that we have that are not as, traumatizing, they're in the back of our mind. We can recall them with little to no emotion, because we're constantly living in that current state. And the only person who can help you through trauma is yourself. It's you getting to a point where you no longer want to be bound by this event or this series of events. That's why rehab is a very neutral thing. It helps some people, and in other people has no effect. What it comes down to is someone deciding that their trauma was just a very powerful event and experience in their life, but it no longer is going to have control over them. And one of the big contributions to trauma is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not something we give out because someone deserves it. It's not something that we feel that it should be merited. It's not an honor, it's not an award. It's definitely not anything that you have to deserve. Forgiveness is just letting go. It's releasing pain, poison from your life. Now, it could have been a situation that you put yourself in. It could have been something somebody else put you in. Could be both. But I've learned that forgiveness is one of the biggest contributing factors to moving trauma from the narrative, the current state, to a memory that we learn from. Trauma may be bad in and of itself, but it doesn't have to define your life. It doesn't have to lead you to addictions. It doesn't have to keep you where you're at. If you learn to let go. Forgive yourself and forgive others, because it's not worth it. It's just poison. I'm Tristan Helm with HelmMastery. Too far out?
Come like, lean your face forward. More.
Thinking you're starting to mess with me now.
Okay. I'm never messing. All about business.
Okay, good. I was like, why does he have me get so close to the camera?